Alrighty, this is part one of two parts of 73 configuration for one is going to be RX. This is the RX video, how to set up the Rxdap virtually on the 7300 7610 using USB audio codec. This is in regards to either running it on the native front end of the radio or SDR console. All right. The other video is going to be for the TX side, whether you're running a rack or a DAW. And this is in, I'm going to show you exactly how to configure it and what hardware to use. Okay. Stand by for a moment. Okay, so as far as hardware, I don't use that other abomination that I'm not even going to utter its name. It's VB. You guys can figure it out. All of this is done using little sound cards. And I know I've covered this before, but I wanted to make dedicated videos specifically for these radios to put the links on the 7300 page on the website so people don't have to search through my YouTube channel to find them. Okay, this is for the RX side. You will need one or two of these. These are the little Sabrent sound cards. Okay, what you do is you take a line out, make yourself up a cable, 3.5 TRS. All you want is one side. So you have a tip ring sleeve. Just grab the tip and the sleeve with a little 3.5 connector, plug it into here, and bring it into the input of the other Sabrent. So you need two of these Sabrents. Bring it into the input of this Sabrent tip sleeve, okay? Or you can bring it out of one of these, use only one, and bring the line out, like I said, into a line into the computer. Okay, so that will work as well. I found that the line in of the computer is noisy. I don't like it, of the Realtek card. That's why I use two of these, 16 bucks. Every ham radio operator, I've said it before, should have a couple of these in their arsenal, okay? Once the hard connection is patched and made, just a heads up, I use one of these with a little UM2. So it dumps out of this into the UM2, and your VST host or Cakewalk Rxdap is set to look at that input of the UM2. The advantage to that is it gives me a gain control knob on the UM2, which helps to control the drive into the Rxdap system, whether it be running in Cakewalk or VST host, okay? I'm going to deal primarily with Cakewalk, assuming that you're running a rack to get the audio into the radio. But this is equally applicable to either VST host or Cakewalk, and all of that stuff is on that page, okay? So once that connection is made, however you're going to do it, let me show you exactly what needs to happen. So we come over here, wrong one, had the right one. Okay, you download the Cakewalk, download your Cakewalk software, install it, install all the plugins. My recommendation is to install the plugins all into the Cakewalk directory. If there's no VST directory in Cakewalk, create one. Send all your plugins there. That way Cakewalk will easily find them. If it doesn't, you can navigate to it and have it scan that said directory. Okay, first thing you want to do when you light up Cakewalk and you download the CWP, assuming your plugins are installed, it should open up and it should look something like this. Right here you see on the screen. Okay, you want to go to Edit, Preferences, and go to Playback and Recording. You want to select Wasapi Shared. There's a reason for this. If you're running the UM2, you can run it in ASIO, but I wouldn't advise this, and I'll explain why in a moment. The latency is pretty much no different. So I set mine to Wasapi shared, go to devices. It's going to list all your devices that are available, right? So I have mine set to the line-in Behringer USB WDM. If you're running two Sabrents, you would select the other Sabrent, and you can have multiple Sabrents plugged into the computer, by the way, and it will identify each one individually. You just got to figure out which one is which, right? So you want your line in to either be the Sabrent or the line in on the Realtek audio card, if you did it that way, or the Behringer, which is what I'm using. Okay. Now, if you go down to output devices, you want to select your primary station card, whatever that may be. If you're using an external card, which I would, if you're going to play this virtual game, you need an external card. Okay, set that to output to that card. Mine is EM audio. You could be using the Realtek speakers, the built-in card, whatever, wherever your speakers are plugged into and where you use your headphones to monitor. Okay, once that's done, click apply. Okay, that is complete. Now let's run over to the radio. This is important. Okay. Now, what I have, let me get out of this screen. I'm going to just show you a couple things which has helped me. Now, this is in regards to running on the native front end of the radio. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to get the audio to that Sabrent in a moment. How to output the audio from the radio to the Sabrent. So if I go like this and go like this and eliminate that, you can see that the NR is on. Okay, what I do is I run the noise reduction on the ICOM. And if you press and hold the NR button, I have it set to, what is that, 5? Can't read it. I think it's 5 or 6. 6. I had that set to 6. I'll put it on 5. I found that helps. And the other thing I wanted to show you is I run my AGC on slow. If you press and hold this, I have it running at 6 seconds. All right, and that helps with the RxDAP. So that's that. And I drive. So let's say it's noise floor dependent. We talked about this, right? So what I do is I get to a signal here. So what I do is I use the RF gain on the radio to control the noise floor, right? So you're going to have to play with that. That RF gain is kind of important. On the shorter wavelength bands, I have a very, very low noise floor. So if I go off of a signal, right? So you can see that the S meter is 0. It doesn't even register anything. So I run the RF gain wide open. Now on 80 meters where the noise floor is higher, I spin the RF gain back counterclockwise, and that really helps reduce the noise and helps clean everything up big time. So now we're going to go back to, so that's pretty much it for the ICOM as far as the radio is concerned. Now let's go back to this area. So the receive audio, let me get on a signal here. Okay, with the receive audio going, you can see that the USB audio codec, you see this meter moving? Now you've got to output that audio, right? So you right click on it, go to properties, listen, and you want to select that Sabrent card, okay? Mine is titled Sabrent 2 because at one point I had 2 cards in there, 2 Sabrents. So I had Sabrent 1, Sabrent 2. Ignore that. Yours is going to be most likely it's going to say USB audio device. If you're using a Sabrent, you want to select that, click listen to this device, apply, and OK. And what that will do is it will send audio out to that card. Now, remember, you have a physical connection between this. Where is it? It's down here, I think. Oh, USB audio device. Okay, so that's in here, right? So you have a physical connection between this device, that's what yours is going to look like. It's going to say microphone USB audio device in the recording tab. That's the Sabrent. Okay, so there's a physical connection between that and this, which is my Behringer USB WDM audio. Okay, and you can see that meter moving. So that card is outputting the audio from the radio to so that card is outputting the audio to the input of the Behringer, and it is being picked up by Cakewalk right here. You can see the meters moving, so I'm going to unmute it quickly. Can't believe there's static crashing on 17 meters, but there is. Bizarre. Okay, the guy disappeared. Figures. God. Boy, there's a mess in here. Now, if you look, band is total crap.
We hit 68 yesterday afternoon, so real treat for this time of the year for sure. If we get too many 60-degree days, the crocuses are going to start popping up out of the ground, and we're not done with.
Okay, so if you look at that signal right there, right, he's not even bumped. Well, there's an S3. Oh, there's an S5.
Fine here so far. Okay, let's see. Anyone else looking to check into the propagation group? This W0KYZ.
Barely. So, that shows you basically how that whole thing is put together. Okay. I think that pretty much ties all that off. What you can do is, let me unmute the audio again. And if you have really weak signals like that, I mean, that is piss poor, right? But there's a lot of noise on 17 right now for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but the band is really not in good shape. So let me unmute this.
Let's go around. Over to you. Yeah, good. You're pegged right at F9, good and solid there.
Okay, so if you've got a lot of QSB, what you can do is you can unmute or bypass this first reefer plugin and the second one. So if I bypass this, yes, the noise is going to come in, but it will act like a cloud lifter on the audio. If you got heavy QSB, this is what you're going to have to do.
Extended forecast here in a bit there to see whether that's still on the screen there.
Okay. Now, if you look at the icon, check this out. Okay, notice the S meter?
Yeah, is that you, Bob? This is W0KYZ.
Good here, clear weather. If this is what weather is going to be, I can handle it.
So I just rolled the knob back on the gain on the UM2.
Give me a full call again there, Bob. KI5, but I didn't quite get the suffix.
He's an S1, S2.
KI5.
He's an S0.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Bob from our local area here, so we're copying him on ground pass, but let me just make
So
sure
he's about
that
an
I
S1
bring
to
that up
S3.
right.
Sharp, super sharp QSB. You see what I'm saying? So that, in a nutshell, is how to run that whole thing. Okay, that concludes the setup for the Rxdap. One quick caveat right here. If you are running console, you can run this on console as well. So if I go in here, let me go back to this display. So if you are running console, you can go in here, disable the raw front end of the ICOM, just unlisten to this device, click apply, OK, and then go back over to console, uncheck this box, unmute.
Plugged it for the time being. I'll get out there and clean the brush later.
Okay, yeah, Bob said he just unplugged the electric fence for right now, so it's not interfering with his radio, but he hasn't been out there to clean up the brush there yet. So hopefully that does the trick. You can get all those weeds off the wire there. That should quiet that thing down.
So that's the front end of console.
Did you want to stick on frequency, Bob? And are you hearing any of the other stations? KI5NZQ, W0KYZ.
Okay, so that's the raw front end of console, or the front end of console going through the Rxdap. Right here at the top, this is where you make your selection for your output. All right, that concludes that. 7.3, we'll be back with the TX side.